selected by Walker Kimbrough, and Coach Johnson said he was very intentional of the staff he put around him, knowing he's in his first season at the helm.
Caitlin Clark just got decked on live TV. And no, this wasn't a WWE promo gone wrong. It was another WNBA game where the refs apparently mistook the court for a napping zone. You'd think the league would protect its rising superstar, right? Think again. Either the officials are Atlanta Dream superfans or in desperate need of an eye exam, because what we witnessed wasn't just missed calls. It was negligence, plain and simple. One of the biggest hurdles for Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever last season was the WNBA referees. The front office went to work during the offseason, revamping the team with more aggressive, physical players to help them climb the ranks and contend for a WNBA championship. But before any of those dreams can come true, there's a missile flying under the radar threatening to derail everything. The WNBA referees and their secret agenda, intentional or not. There she was, Caitlin Clark, the highlight machine with handles so smooth they should be illegal in all 50 states, just trying to do her job and torch the Atlanta Dream. But somewhere along the line, basketball rules were swapped out for wrestling scripts. What took place on that court wasn't hoops, it was full contact mayhem. And the referees? Either blindfolded or taking a quick power nap. Let us know what you think of the corrupt referees down in the comments, because this was another case of WNBA officials dropping the ball, not making the right calls when it comes to Caitlin Clark. Bruh, how are we just one game away from the start of the season, and Clark is already getting fouled like it's a heavyweight title match? Picture this. Caitlin Clark, fresh off melting nets with Steph Curry range jumpers and dishing assists that defy logic, walks into the game with poise, skill, and a knack for turning elite defenders into confused bystanders. Naturally, the Dream weren't having it. And the refs? They looked about as motivated as a screensaver in sleep mode. Not a whistle. Not a warning. It's as if the only foul they recognized was someone sneezing too loud in the stands. You have to wonder, are these refs even watching the same game we are? Because she wasn't just bumped. She was straight up launched. And the refs responded with the enthusiasm of someone clocking out early on a Friday. It was a no call times 2. But guess what they did call? Caitlin Clark getting a technical. That's right. The same player getting tossed around like a rag doll gets a tech for being passionate? Make it make sense. Clark drove into the paint, eyes locked on the rim, ready to convert a simple layup. What she got instead was a chaotic cluster of flying limbs. Meanwhile, the referees kept their whistles buried deep in their pockets, maybe waiting for actual blood before calling a foul. Or perhaps they were beta testing a new WNBA rule. No calls unless a player physically combusts on the court. It raises a bigger, uncomfortable question. How much of this treatment is due to jealousy? Is it the insane amount of publicity Clark gets? The massive endorsements? The fact that she's white or straight? Nobody knows the exact recipe of resentment brewing on that court. But something's off. Are black players more jealous than white players? Maybe. Maybe not. But here's the deal. None of it should matter. If players are going to be overly physical with her, the refs have a responsibility to protect her. Not because she's Caitlin Clark, but because it's the right thing to do. If this were a YMCA pickup game where fouls are negotiable and the scoreboard is run by a middle schooler, maybe you let it slide. But this is the WNBA. The crowd gasped, social media exploded, and yet the game trudged on like nothing happened. As if Clark tripped over her own greatness instead of getting steamrolled by a 3-player blitz. And this isn't just an isolated incident. It's become a theme. Caitlin Clark is getting treated like the league's official crash test dummy. Yet despite all this chaos, Caitlin Clark did what she always does. Dominate. The Atlanta Dream tried everything. They pulled out the Nate Tibbetts playbook, throwing a different look at her every possession. But Clark could have been in a tornado full of dodgeballs and still found a way to hit a logo 3. She kept the Fever offense flowing like a jazz symphony. Her passes sliced through defensive traffic like a hot knife through skepticism. This wasn't basketball. It was art. Quantum-level thinking mixed with street-level flair. Clark sees plays like a chess grandmaster sees moves. She's crafting a masterpiece while defenders are still stuck on their opening move. While others would have folded, Clark simply tightened her ponytail and dropped another dagger from 30 feet. Her stat line? Glorious. She finished the preseason game against Atlanta with 13 points, 7 assists, and 6 rebounds, and she only played 23 minutes. If it were a regular season game, she flirts with a triple-double. That brings us to the numbers, the only part of the game that doesn't lie. Even when the referees checked out, Clark checked in. Her stat lines are the stuff of coaching dreams. She didn't just survive, she thrived. She made it clear that no amount of contact, called or not, can slow her down. Indiana Fever fans got another W in that preseason matchup, 81-76. The game was competitive throughout. Atlanta deployed full-court defense on Clark most of the game, and still, she delivered. She could have easily had 12 to 15 assists if her teammates finished their looks. She hit 3 long-range bombs and set the tone. But here's the real question. Why isn't anyone protecting the league's biggest draw? The answer might be found higher up in the WNBA food chain. Enter Kathy Engelbert, WNBA commissioner and, apparently, part-time magician, because she's been disappearing every time Clark gets flattened. The woman tasked with growing the league remains suspiciously quiet as her marquee player gets treated like a training dummy. Newsflash. Letting your top star take unnecessary punishment isn't a brilliant growth strategy. It's starting to look less like bad refereeing and more like something intentional. A subtle, quiet resistance to Caitlin Clark's rise. A refusal to admit she's revolutionizing the league right before their eyes. There's an internal panic happening behind the scenes. Clark's stardom is too bright, too fast. The response? Let her earn it the hard way. No special treatment. But also, apparently, no fair treatment. Just cheap shots, no calls, and bruises as trophies. Yet Clark never backs down. Each uncalled foul adds fuel to her fire. The WNBA claims to champion its stars, but their actions tell a different story. What we've seen is shoulder shrugs and ignored whistles. And fans? We see it. We see everything. If the league won't stand up for Caitlin Clark, the fans will. Because this isn't just about one player. It's about how the game is played, how it's officiated, and how stars are protected or not. Clark isn't just playing basketball. She's fighting for respect on every possession. Her every move is a chess piece repositioned against adversity. The refs can try to erase her with silence, but fans? We're shouting in surround sound. We're witnessing a generational talent navigate sabotage in plain sight. Going back to the Atlanta game, Clark was handing out assists like she was on Oprah's Christmas episode. You get an assist, and you get an assist. Left hand, right hand, no look, over the shoulder. Every pass was a magician's trick wrapped in a basketball. Her court vision? Freakish. Her timing? Surgical. And Atlanta? They couldn't keep up. Double her? She slices through. Trap her? She backpedals, spins, and drains a shot from downtown like it was part of the plan all along. Each possession felt like a revelation. The crowd's collective gasp echoed louder with every crossover, every swish. Defenders? They stood around like people who just got their passwords denied at an ATM. Stunned, frozen, confused. Her three-point shots had the elegance of poetry. Each swish a syllable, each bucket a verse. The ball barely touched the net. And she didn't stop there. Defensively, Clark was locked in. She read screens like a decoder, slipped into lanes like a ghost, and anticipated passes before they were even released. When Atlanta hit the boards, Clark boxed out with vengeance. She wasn't just playing both ends. She was dominating both ends. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more updates.